Beloved child of God, before you close your eyes tonight, before you drift into peaceful sleep, I want you to know something profound. You are about to embark on a journey through the most powerful, most beloved, most life-changing prayers ever written. These are the Psalms that have comforted millions, strengthened the weak, healed the brokenhearted, and brought countless souls closer to the heart of God. Tonight, we're going to walk through the most popular Psalms in all of Scripture, the ones that have resonated with believers for thousands of years, the prayers that King David and other faithful servants penned under the divine inspiration of the Holy Spirit. These aren't just ancient words on a page. These are living, breathing promises from the God who loves you more than you can possibly imagine. Before we begin this sacred journey together, I want to ask you something. If this message speaks to your heart tonight, if these ancient prayers bring you comfort, hope, or healing, would you take just a moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications? When you do, you're joining a community of believers who gather here to find peace in God's Word, and you'll never miss a moment of encouragement, prayer, or biblical truth. And if you feel moved by what you hear tonight, please leave a comment below, share your favorite psalm, tell us how God is working in your life, because your testimony might be exactly what someone else needs to hear tonight. Now, let's begin. Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. We must start here, because if there's one psalm that every human heart knows, even those who've never opened a Bible, it's Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. 6 simple words that have echoed through hospital rooms and funeral homes, through valleys of shadow and mountaintops of joy for 3,000 years. But tonight, we're not going to rush through these familiar words. We're going to sit with them, meditate on them, and discover why this psalm has become the most beloved prayer in human history. David wrote these words, and when he did, he wasn't speaking theoretically. He knew what it meant to be a shepherd. As a young boy in the fields of Bethlehem, David spent countless hours watching over his father's sheep. He knew their habits, their needs, their vulnerabilities. He knew that sheep, left to themselves, would wander into danger, that they couldn't find their own water, that they were defenseless against predators, that they needed constant, vigilant care. And so when David declares, "The Lord is my shepherd," he's making a profound statement about his relationship with God. He's saying, I am completely dependent on Him. I trust Him fully. I know that without His guidance, I would be lost. Without His protection, I would be destroyed, and without His provision, I would perish. Let's walk through this psalm slowly, carefully, because every phrase contains depths of meaning that we need to explore. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Think about what David is saying here. He's not claiming he'll have everything he desires. He's declaring that under God's care, he will lack nothing that he truly needs. In a world where we're constantly told we need more money, more possessions, more success, more recognition. David stands in radical opposition and says, with God as my shepherd, I have enough. This is the declaration of a soul at rest. This is what it sounds like when someone has stopped striving, stopped grasping, stopped living in the anxiety of scarcity. David has learned what it means to be content, not because his circumstances are perfect, but because his shepherd is faithful. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. Now here's something beautiful that many people miss. Sheep will not lie down unless 4 conditions are met. They must be free from fear. They must be free from friction with other sheep. They must be free from flies and parasites. And they must be free from hunger. When David says God makes him lie down in green pastures, he's saying that God creates an environment of complete peace, safety, provision, and rest. And notice where the shepherd leads, not beside raging rivers where the sheep might be swept away and drowned, but beside quiet, still waters where they can drink safely. God knows what we need. He knows that our souls need rest, that we need peace, that we need spaces of quiet where we can be restored. In our frantic, noisy, constantly connected world, this image of green pastures and quiet waters calls to something deep within us. We're exhausted. We're running on empty. We're overwhelmed by the chaos and demands of modern life. And God says, "Come, lie down, rest, drink deeply. Let me restore your soul." He restores my soul. He guides me along the right paths for His name's sake. The Hebrew word for restores here literally means to bring back or to turn around. It's the language of rescue and recovery. David is acknowledging that sometimes we wander, sometimes we stray from the good path. Sometimes we make foolish choices that lead us into danger or difficulty. But our shepherd doesn't abandon us. He comes after us. He finds us. He restores us. He brings us back. And why does He do this? For His name's sake. Meaning for His glory, for His reputation, because of who He is. God's commitment to guide and restore us isn't based on our worthiness. It's based on His character. His faithfulness is a reflection of His nature, not a reward for our performance. This is such good news for those of us who've messed up, who've wandered, who've made mistakes we regret. Our shepherd doesn't give up on us. He restores us. He sets us back on the right path because that's who He is. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for You are with me. Your rod and Your staff, they comfort me. Now we come to perhaps the most famous line in all of poetry. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, or as many modern translations render it, the darkest valley. David doesn't say, if I walk through the valley, Stas. He says, though I walk through it. He's acknowledging a reality that we all face. There will be dark valleys in life. There will be times of grief, loss, pain, and fear. There will be seasons when death's shadow looms large, when sickness threatens, when relationships crumble, when dreams die, when hope seems lost. But notice what David doesn't say. He doesn't say, I will be strong enough to handle it. He doesn't say, I will positive think my way through it. He doesn't say, I will just have to tough it out. Instead, he says something far more powerful. I will fear no evil, for You are with me. The absence of fear doesn't come from the absence of danger. It comes from the presence of God. The shepherd walks with his sheep through the dangerous valley. The shepherd carries a rod to defend against predators and a staff to guide and rescue sheep who stumble. And just knowing the shepherd is there, just feeling His presence, brings comfort even in the darkest places. This is the testimony we need to hear tonight. You might be walking through a dark valley right now. You might be facing circumstances that terrify you. You might feel like death's shadow is closing in. But if God is with you, if the Good Shepherd walks beside you, you don't have to be afraid. because He is stronger than whatever you're facing. He is mightier than your darkest fear. He is present in your deepest pain. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. What an image this is. God doesn't just protect us from our enemies. He throws a feast in their presence. He honors us. He anoints us. He fills our cup until it overflows, all while those who wish us harm look on. To anoint someone's head with oil was a sign of honor, celebration, and blessing in ancient Near Eastern culture. It was what you did for a special guest. And here's David saying that God treats him like an honored guest, like royalty, like someone precious and valued, even when he's surrounded by those who oppose him. And that overflowing cup, it's not just enough, it's abundance. It's more than sufficient. It's God's generosity on display. Some of you need to hear this tonight, or you're in a season where it feels like everyone is against you, where critics surround you, where enemies mock, but God is preparing a table for you. He's about to honor you in front of those who doubted. He's about to fill your cup until it overflows. He's about to show everyone that you are His beloved child, and He takes care of His own. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The word follow here is actually much stronger in Hebrew. It means to pursue or to chase down. David is saying that God's goodness and unfailing love don't just passively accompany Him, they actively pursue Him. They hunt Him down. They chase after Him all the days of His life. Think about that. The same God who created the universe, who hung the stars in space, who commands the wind and waves, is chasing after you with His goodness and love. Every single day of your life, His mercy is pursuing you. His grace is tracking you down. His love is following after you. And where does this journey end? In the house of the Lord forever, in eternal dwelling with God, in the place where there are no more tears, no more pain, no more death, no more fear, just forever in the presence of the one who loves us most. This is why Psalm 23 has comforted millions, because it tells the complete story of God's care for His children, from daily provision and guidance, through dark valleys and danger, to ultimate victory and eternal rest. Our shepherd is faithful from beginning to end, and beyond the end into eternity. Before we move to the next psalm, I need to share something with you. I'll never forget the night I sat beside my mother's hospital bed, watching her struggle to breathe, knowing the doctors had done all they could, knowing that the valley of the shadow of death was no longer a metaphor, but a reality we were walking through together. And in that moment, when fear threatened to overwhelm me, when grief felt like it would crush my chest, I heard myself whispering these words from Psalm 23. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. And beloved, I felt Him there, the Good Shepherd, present in that hospital room, walking with us through that dark valley, and the fear, it didn't consume me, because His presence, His nearness, His comfort was stronger than death itself. That's the power of these ancient prayers. They meet us in our darkest moments. They speak truth when lies are screaming. They remind us we're never alone, never abandoned, never beyond the reach of the Good Shepherd's love. Now, let's journey together into the next prayer, one that speaks of protection so complete, so comprehensive, so powerful, that millions have clung to it in times of crisis, Psalm 91, the ultimate protection prayer. If Psalm 23 is the most beloved, Psalm 91 is perhaps the most powerful declaration of God's protection ever written. This is the psalm that believers have prayed over their children before school, over their spouses before deployments, over their homes during storms, over their bodies during illness, over their minds during spiritual attack. According to data from Bible study tools, Psalm 91 was the most read Bible passage in 2024. And it's no wonder. In a world that feels increasingly dangerous and uncertain, we desperately need the promises contained in these 16 verses. Listen to how it begins. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Right from the start, we're given a condition and a promise. The condition, dwelling in God's shelter. The promise, resting in His shadow. This isn't about a one-time prayer or a casual acknowledgement of God. This is about abiding, remaining, staying close, making God's presence our permanent dwelling place. The word shelter here refers to a secret place, a hidden location, a protected space where one goes to escape danger. And shadow implies closeness. You can't be in someone's shadow unless you're very near to them. This psalm is inviting us into intimacy with God, into a closeness so profound that we're covered by His presence. Now notice the progression of names for God in these opening verses. Most High, Almighty, Lord, my God. Each name reveals a different aspect of God's character, His supremacy, His power, His covenant faithfulness, His personal relationship with us. The psalmist is piling up names as if to say, let me tell you everything I know about who God is and why you can trust Him completely. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. A fowler was someone who trapped birds. They would set hidden snares and traps, invisible to their prey, until it was too late. And the psalmist is saying that God will protect you from those hidden dangers, the traps you don't see coming, the schemes laid against you in secret, the spiritual attacks that come when you're unaware, and the deadly pestilence. In the ancient world, plague and disease could wipe out entire populations. There was no medical understanding, no vaccines, no antibiotics. When pestilence came, people were helpless. But even against this invisible, unstoppable enemy, God promises protection. How relevant is this promise today? We've just lived through a global pandemic. We've watched disease spread across the world. We've felt the fear of invisible threats. And here, thousands of years ago, God was already promising His children, I will protect you even from the pestilence you cannot see or control. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. What a tender image this is. God compared to a mother bird who spreads her wings over her young to protect them from predators and storms. Have you ever seen a mother hen gather her chicks under her wings when danger approaches? The chicks run to her and she covers them completely with her wings, and she will die defending them before she'll let them be harmed. This is how God protects His children, with fierce, sacrificial, complete coverage. We run to Him and He covers us, and nothing can get to us without going through Him first. And His faithfulness, His absolute reliability, His proven track record of keeping His promises becomes our shield and rampart. A shield is personal protection held close. A rampart is a fortified wall around a city. God's faithfulness protects us both intimately and comprehensively. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 4 different threats are mentioned here, and together they cover every possible time and type of danger. The terror that comes at night when we're vulnerable and can't see, the sudden violent attack that comes in broad daylight when we think we're safe, the disease that moves in darkness unseen, the disaster that strikes at noon when the sun is brightest. In other words, God's protection is complete. It's not limited to certain times or certain types of threats, whether the danger is visible or invisible, predictable or sudden, physical or spiritual. God's covering is comprehensive. Think about your own fears for a moment. What keeps you awake at night? What worry dominates your thoughts during the day? What if scenarios play on repeat in your mind? This psalm is speaking directly to those fears. It's saying, whatever you're afraid of, God is bigger. Whatever threatens you, God is stronger. Whatever might come against you, God has already surrounded you with His protection. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. This is a stunning promise. Even when devastation is all around, even when it seems like everyone else is falling, even when destruction is so close you could reach out and touch it, it will not come near you if you dwell in God's shelter. Now, we need to be careful here. This is not a promise that believers will never face hardship or that Christians are immune to the tragedies of this fallen world. Many faithful believers have suffered, have faced persecution, have endured illness and loss. This psalm is not a magic formula that guarantees a pain-free life. Rather, this is a promise about ultimate protection, about spiritual preservation, about God's sovereign ability to keep you through and beyond anything this world throws at you. It's a promise that no matter what happens to your body, your soul is secure. No matter what temporary troubles you face, your eternal destiny is protected. No matter how close danger comes, God's purposes for you cannot be thwarted. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you say, "The Lord is my refuge," and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. Again, that condition, making God your dwelling. This isn't about a casual faith or a crisis-only prayer life. This is about a lifestyle of abiding in God's presence, of choosing Him as your refuge again and again and again, of making His presence your home. And when you do that, yet when you truly dwell with God, you're promised that harm and disaster will not overtake you. Now, as we said, this doesn't mean nothing bad will ever happen. It means nothing will happen outside of God's knowledge and permission. Nothing will happen that He cannot use for your good. Nothing will happen that can separate you from His love or derail His plans for you. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. Did you know that God has assigned angels to protect you? Not just one angel, but angels, plural, and they're not passive observers. They're under divine orders. God has commanded them concerning you. He has given them specific instructions about your protection. This promise is so significant that Satan himself quoted it when he tempted Jesus in the wilderness. He tried to get Jesus to test God's protection by throwing himself off the temple. But Jesus understood what Satan deliberately misrepresented. God's protection is for those who are following his will, not for those who are deliberately courting danger to test him. The promise is that as you walk in God's ways, as you follow his leading, as you live in obedience to his will, angels will guard you. They'll catch you when you stumble. They'll protect you from dangers you never even know about. They'll work invisibly behind the scenes to preserve and guide you. How many times has God's angelic protection saved you without you even knowing it? How many accidents did you narrowly avoid? How many disasters passed you by? How many times did your steps take you away from danger you never saw coming? We'll probably never know until we get to heaven and see the full picture of how God's angels have been working on our behalf. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Lions and serpents represent different kinds of threats. The lion is the obvious, powerful, aggressive enemy. The cobra is the hidden, subtle, poisonous threat. Together, they symbolize every form of danger. And God promises that you will not just survive these threats. You will tread on them. You will trample them. You will have victory over them. This is a promise of dominion, of authority, of triumph. Through Christ, we have been given power over the enemy. We don't have to cower in fear before the forces of darkness. We don't have to be paralyzed by what threatens us. We can walk in the authority that God has given us, confident that he has made us more than conquerors. Now listen to the final section of this psalm, because here God himself speaks. Up until now, we've been hearing from the psalmist, but now the voice changes, and we hear directly from the mouth of God. Pay close attention to these words. Because he loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Do you hear the tenderness in God's voice? Do you sense his passionate love for his children? God doesn't protect us grudgingly or out of obligation. He protects us because we love him and he loves us. He protects us because we acknowledge his name, meaning we recognize who he is and we call upon him in faith. And notice God's promises. I will rescue him. I will protect him. I will answer him. I will be with him. I will deliver him. I will honor him. I will satisfy him. I will show him my salvation. 8 different I will promises from the mouth of God himself. Each one is absolutely certain. Each one is guaranteed by the character and power of God, and that promise about long life. In Hebrew thought, a long life wasn't just about many years. It was about a full life, a satisfied life, a life that accomplished its purpose. God is promising not just quantity of days, but quality of life. He's promising satisfaction, fulfillment, the joy of seeing his salvation at work. This is why Psalm 91 has become the go-to prayer for protection, because it comprehensively covers every fear, every threat, every danger we might face, and it anchors our confidence not in our own strength or wisdom, but in God's character, power, and love. When you pray this psalm over your life, over your family, over your circumstances, you're not just reciting nice words. You're standing on promises that God himself has made. You're activating faith in the one who is absolutely faithful. You're declaring that no matter what comes, you're dwelling in the shelter of the Most High, and nothing can snatch you from his hand. I want to pause here and tell you about a moment that changed everything for me. It was 2020, the height of the pandemic, and fear was everywhere. Every news report brought more death tolls, more lockdowns, more uncertainty. And I remember sitting in my living room one evening, feeling the weight of anxiety pressing down on my chest, wondering if this invisible threat would reach my family. And the Holy Spirit whispered to my heart, "Read Psalm 91. So I did, out loud, over my home, over my family, over every person I loved. He will cover you with his feathers. Under his wings you will find refuge. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the pestilence that stalks in darkness." And beloved, peace flooded my soul, not because the pandemic disappeared, not because the danger vanished, but because I suddenly understood with crystal clarity that we were covered, protected, held in the hands of the God who commands angels concerning us. That psalm became our daily prayer, our declaration of faith, our anchor in the storm. And God kept his promises, every single one of them. That's what these ancient prayers do. And they don't just inform us, like they transform us. They don't just teach us about God. They bring us into his presence where fear loses its power and faith takes root. Now, let me take you deeper into a psalm that reveals something so beautiful, so profound, it will change how you see yourself forever. Psalm 139. You are fully known and fully loved. There are moments in life when we feel utterly alone, when we feel like no one truly understands us, when we believe that if people really knew us, they would reject us. In those moments, we need Psalm 139. This psalm, written by David, is one of the most intimate personal meditations on God's knowledge of us ever penned. It explores the stunning reality that God knows everything about us, every detail, every thought, every moment, and he loves us anyway. In fact, he doesn't just love us despite knowing us fully. He loves us because he knows us fully. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. The Hebrew word for searched here means to dig, to examine thoroughly, to investigate completely. It's the word you'd use for mining precious metals or examining evidence in a court case. God has searched you. He has examined every part of your life, your heart, your mind, and the result of his search is not rejection. The result is knowledge, yes, but knowledge accompanied by love. You know when I sit and when I rise. In other words, God knows your routines, your habits, your patterns. He knows when you're active and when you're at rest, when you're productive and when you're still. Nothing about your daily life is hidden from him or unimportant to him. You perceive my thoughts from afar. Before you even speak, before you even fully form the thought, God knows what you're thinking. He understands your mental and emotional state better than you understand it yourself. And think about what this means. God knows every thought you've ever had, including the ones you're ashamed of, and he still loves you. He still calls you his child. He still pursues you with his goodness. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. God knows where you go, what you do, how you spend your time. He knows your public life and your private life. He knows what you're like when others are watching and what you're like when you're alone. He knows the real you, not just the version you present to the world. And he's familiar with all your ways. He's not surprised by you. He's not shocked by your failures, or disappointed by your weaknesses in the way that would cause him to give up on you. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. This is almost frightening in its intimacy. God knows what you're going to say before you say it. He knows the prayer before you pray it. He knows the confession before you confess it. He knows the lie before you tell it. He knows the encouragement before you offer it. Nothing you could say would be news to God. And yet, here's the beautiful part. He still invites you to talk to him. He still welcomes your prayers. He still wants to hear your voice. Why? Not because he needs information, but because he desires relationship. He wants intimacy with you. He wants you to know the joy of being truly fully known and still completely accepted. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. What a picture this is. God surrounds you. He goes before you into your future, and he stands behind you covering your past. He hems you in, not to trap you or restrict you, but to protect you, to keep you safe, to ensure you never wander beyond the reach of his care. And that hand laid upon you. In ancient times, laying hands on someone was a gesture of blessing, commissioning, empowerment. God's hand is on you. His touch is upon your life. You are under his authority, yes, but also under his blessing and protection. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. David pauses here in wonder. He's overwhelmed by the reality of God's intimate knowledge of him. It's too wonderful, too marvelous, too high for human comprehension. We simply cannot fully grasp how God can know every one of us so completely and personally. It defies our understanding. And this is where David asks a profound question. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? Now, some people have misunderstood these verses as if David is trying to escape from God. But that's not it at all. David is actually celebrating God's omnipresence. He's rejoicing in the fact that there is nowhere he could go where God would not be with him. No circumstance could separate him from God's presence. If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. Think about what David is saying. If I ascend to the highest heights of success, blessing, and joy, you are there. If I descend to the lowest depths of failure, pain, and despair, you are there. If I travel as far east as the dawn or as far west as the sea, you are there. There is no mountaintop experience that takes me beyond God's reach. There is no valley so deep that God cannot find me there. There is no distance I could travel that would outrun God's presence. Wherever I go, whatever I face, God's hand guides me and holds me. This is such comfort for those who feel far from God right now. Maybe you've made choices that took you away from Him. Maybe you're in a dark place spiritually. Maybe you feel like you've wandered too far and there's no way back. This psalm declares, even there, even in that far place, God's hand will guide you and hold you. You haven't gone beyond the reach of His love. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. Sometimes we try to hide our sin, our shame, our failures in the darkness. We think, if I can just keep this hidden, if no one knows, if I can keep it in the dark, maybe it won't matter. But David reminds us that darkness and light are the same to God. Nothing is hidden from Him. He sees everything with perfect clarity. Now this could be terrifying, except for what comes next. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. Even though God sees everything, that even though nothing is hidden from him, his response to us is not condemnation. His response is, I made you. I knit you together with my own hands. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are not an accident, not a mistake, not a disappointment to God. You are his intentional, carefully crafted, wonderful creation. The word fearfully here means with great reverence, with awe. You were made with such care, such precision, such intentionality that it should inspire awe. And wonderfully means remarkably, extraordinarily. You are not ordinary. You are not common. You are a wonder, a marvel, a masterpiece of God's creative work. And God saw you before you were born. He knew you before you took your first breath. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Think about this. Before you existed, God thought about you. He planned for you. He ordained your days. He wrote your story. You are not here by chance. Your life has meaning, purpose, significance because God himself designed it that way. Every single day of your life was written in God's book before you lived even one of them. This doesn't mean we don't have choices or that everything is predetermined in a way that eliminates our will. It means God, in his sovereignty and foreknowledge, has a plan and purpose for every day of your life. He can see the whole picture when all you can see is today. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. God's thoughts toward you are precious, as such they are valuable, they are good, and they are countless. If you tried to count how many times God has thought about you, you'd run out of numbers before you ran out of God's thoughts. They're more numerous than grains of sand on every beach in the world. What does God think about when he thinks about you? He thinks about how much he loves you, about his plans for your good, about the gifts he's placed within you, about the ways he wants to bless you and use you. His thoughts toward you are thoughts of peace, not evil, thoughts of hope and a future, thoughts of love, joy, and purpose. And when you awake, when you open your eyes each morning, when you start a new day, you are still with him. He hasn't left you overnight. He was with you while you slept, watching over you, protecting you. And now, in the fresh morning light, he's still there, ready to guide you through another day. The psalm ends with a prayer that at first seems surprising. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. After spending the entire psalm celebrating that God already knows everything about him, David asks God to search him. Why? Because David wants to know what God knows. He wants to see himself as God sees him. He wants to be made aware of anything in his life that displeases God, so he can repent and be led in the right path. This is the prayer of someone who isn't afraid of God's knowledge because they trust God's love. David knows that if God reveals sin, it's not to condemn, but to heal, not to shame, but to transform, not to reject, but to restore. This is the invitation of Psalm 139. To stop hiding, to stop pretending, to stop performing, and to simply rest in the reality that you are fully known by God and fully loved by God at the same time. You don't have to earn His love. You don't have to clean yourself up before coming to Him. You can come as you are, with all your mess and brokenness and failure, knowing that He already sees it all and He's already chosen to love you anyway. Let me tell you what happened when Psalm 139 became real to me. I was in my early 20s, struggling with shame over past failures, convinced that if people truly knew me, they would turn away in disgust. I wore masks, I performed. I presented the version of myself I thought people wanted to see. And one night, alone in my apartment, I read these words, "You have searched me, Lord, and you know me." And it hit me like lightning. God knows me. He knows all of me. Every failure, every sin, every shameful thought. He knows it all. And I waited for the condemnation, for the rejection, for the voice that would say, "You're right, you're not worthy." But instead, I heard Him whisper, "You are fearfully and wonderfully made." My thoughts toward you outnumber the grains of sand. I knit you together with my own hands. And beloved, in that moment, the shame broke. The masks fell, because I realized I don't have to hide anymore. I don't have to pretend. God knows everything and He loves me anyway. He's not waiting for me to become perfect before He accepts me. He accepts me right now, right here, exactly as I am. That's freedom. That's what these Psalms give us. Freedom to be real with God. Freedom to be honest. Freedom to stop performing and just be loved. And now, as we continue this journey, let me show you a psalm that speaks courage into our deepest fears.